Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening. Sorry, a few minutes late here. How's everybody? You hear me okay? Apparently my background music was on insane volume. I'll try and fix that for next time. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. Loud and clear. Good evening then. Yeah, sorry, one of my kids is, we had the flu vaccination yesterday and one of them's running a bit of a high temperature, so I thought I was ready to start. But just Googling it, I just gave them paracetamol. So I'll need to, like, halfway through the stream, I'm just going to nip and check on one of my kids' temperatures because it's really high at the moment. So, yeah, cool. Good evening, though. We've got 6 army lists to look at tonight. I don't know if they're all using the new codex or some of them might use the old codex, but we will get into them and we'll see what we can learn. Couple and chocolate. It's funny how they can not want to eat anything, but there's always a place for chocolate, isn't there? Okay, so we've got Matt Cortiaz as the first list for tonight. He's looking at the Sanguinar, Dante 6 Sanguinary Guard, the Jump Pack Cone with Pinions and 6 Sanguinary Guard. So this is an Angelic host list. He's going to do 3 Sanguinary Guard or Mephiston plus another scout unit. So he's thinking 15 Sanguinary Guard in that Angelic host detachment. He's thinking 12 Inceptors, 6 Bolters, 6 Plasma, unit of Scouts, unit Infiltrators, 2 Jump Pack Intercessors. This sits at 1960 pending the Sanguinary Guard points. The Mephiston and the 2nd Scout unit over the 3-man Sanguinary Guard will bump it to a clean 2,000. There are multiple options for sacrificial units who trigger the full reroll strat, which will greatly increase Sanguinary Guard's damage output. I'll need to play with the Plasma and Bolters to get a good feel of what they're really going to do damage-wise. Because basically you're going to put those Inceptors onto the map, you're going to shoot something, you're going to pick them up every turn, and because they're Inceptors, they can deep strike 3 inches away, so they're generally just going to be nightmarish. It doesn't feel like you have many units here, though, right? Like, Dante plus 6, the Sanguinary Guard... Sorry, the Captain plus 6 is 2 units, the 2 Inceptor units gives you 4, Scouts and Infiltrators give you 6, the 2 Jump units give you 10, Sanguinary gives 9, so you only really... Potentially what you do if you take Mephiston and the Scout unit, you have 11 units. Otherwise, you only have 10. Hello, Michael. Thanks for tuning in for the start. 10 or 11 units seems like a very low number, but I guess when you take Dante plus the Sanguinary Guard and then Jump Captain plus 6 Sanguinary Guard and those Inceptors, the Inceptors are kind of obnoxiously costly, aren't they? Like 260 points for 6. My thought on the Angelic host list is going to be, hello Skullhead, is going to be hard to deal a lot of damage to enemy monsters, vehicles, tanks, things with lots of toughness. Anything over toughness 8, you're basically going to wound on 5s in this list, regardless of what you do. So I feel like having nothing that ever wounds better against toughness 8 on 5s is not ideal. I think the way you would play this list, though, is you would have a lot of jump units to use a lot of the shenanigans. And this list doesn't have a lot of jump units. You know, like Dante plus 6 Sanguinary Guard and the Captain plus 6 Sanguinary Guard take an absolute boatload of your points. I think we have to wait to see where Sanguinary Guard points shake out, because 300 points for 6 is very, very pricey. I mean, they are going to be a very good unit. It's just they're very pricey at the moment. I don't know if they're pricey enough to be competitive in the sense of running 12 of them. Like, I think they're okay in the Liberator Assault group because of the extra strength and the extra attacks. but only strength 6 in the lag detachment. I get a bit worried about them. And there's no way to give them lance in the Angelic host detachment. I'm gonna have to wait until some people actually. I mean, it makes sense to all your stratagems in this detachment need jump pack units for easy, so it makes sense to have a lot of jump pack units. But yeah, Sangry Guard only having strength 6 feels kind of meh. Anyone know if a new Sanguinar model is coming? Yes, it is coming. It should be up for pre-order in probably 2 or 3 weeks' time, right? It was announced on the Warhammer community site. I think until we see an Angelic host list, or until I see one that I really like, I'm gonna struggle to find Angelic host, because the Sangry Guard are gonna be in a tough spot. You know, wounding anything above toughness 7 on 5s or 6s. If they ever have to go into toughness 12, they're only wounding them on 6s. So and then the Inceptors need to do a lot of work, and I know Inceptors are twin linked, but you know, like against Knights, this list would be an absolute nightmare. You just don't have the strength, and you don't have the stratagems to deal with Knights. Or anything that has the equivalent, like their whole army is T10 or above, right? So we're going to have to see someone win a tournament with Angelic Host, or we're going to have to see someone submit a list with Angelic Host that I think is really, really strong, and then we're going to take it from there. If you do get some value in tonight's stream, please consider hitting the like button at some point. We always get a lot of viewers and not that many likes. So if we can do that, it would be appreciated. The new models are 3 weeks out from being in stores. Yeah, I think the pre-order for the new models will be in about... I thought the pre-order was going to be about the 7th of October. And then they usually have that 2-week pre-order period. So take it basically within a month, Jason. I think you're going to... What all is new that's coming? It's like the Sanguinar, the Sangry Guard, the Combat Patrol, which includes the new captain, the Sangry Priest. And did I miss anything? Was there anything else new that was coming? Well, I mean, they might sell those new Death Company boxes like on their own, not in the big army box that a lot of us already got. Alright, so 2 in and 2 out was a list that I actually missed last week, so I'm glad that I remembered and put it into this week's army show. So he posted last week, but he was missed. This is his first game using the new detachment. He beat Orcs 87-49. He might try out the Blood Angels captain with the Rage Fueled Warrior without Assault Intercessors and a second Impulsor for the next game. I was thinking about doing that as well, I just haven't done it yet. The Inceptors were good for mobility scoring and adding some range shooting exactly where I needed. The list did struggle a bit with armor killing. Now we've lost all the Infernal Pistols and Power Fists, but I did whiff a roll and roll below average on my last cannon shots. I assume this is last cannon shots. Keen to hear. Right, so this is a Liberator assault group. We know we've lost Power Fists, we know we've lost Infernal Pistols. So what have we got? I guess we've got a Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch. Jump pack. We've got Dante. We've got Judasar with Gift of Foresight. Was there an announcement? No, not yet. They didn't announce the date, but typically when they release that big box, which has been out like 6 weeks, there's usually like a 6-week period between the big box and where we get to now, Jason. At least that's what people have told me for the other armies. So I think the big box came out 2 weekends ago. Was it 2 weekends ago? Yeah, and it was a 2-week pre-order, so it was about a month ago that the big box went on pre-order. So it would be like 2 weeks from now, which is I guess why I'm saying like the 7th of August I expect to see the pre-order for the next stuff. Sorry, so the Sanguinar, the Judasar with Gift of Foresight, which is interesting because it gives him guaranteed dev wounds, or it gives him guaranteed dev wounds, or guaranteed to save on a 6, excuse me. You've got the Impulsor, Assault Intercessors with jump packs ×2, Ballistus Dreadnought ×2, Blade Guard ×6 with the Judasar, Death Company, the 5 will be with that jump pack with the Fight First enhancement. You've 2 small squads of Inceptors with Plasmas. You've got the squad of Infiltrators for the backfield. You've got the 6 Angry Guard, and you've got a squad of Scouts. Okay, interesting. This is similar to a list that we saw last week, where like taking 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts is like the cheapest way to get some long-range las cannons in your list. I mean, for 280 points, what, you get 4 las cannons with potential rerolls, you get 4 crack missiles with potential rerolls. I don't mind it. I think he said that he actually struggled to kill armor. Yeah, I think if this is all your ranged firepower is, just the 2 of these guys, you might struggle a little bit. Maybe, as much as it sucks to have to spend another 140 points, somebody else said the exact same thing last week, that they had 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts and they felt like it just wasn't enough. And maybe you need 3 Ballistus Dreadnoughts to really make that feel impactful. I know in my list at the moment, I have less than 400 points shooting, but I do think that if you want to maximize your shooting, like 280 points is low. Sanguinar says 2 Gladiator Lancers might be better, and they definitely might be, right? It's just more las cannon shots, or more reliability from las cannon shots. So the Blade Guard with the Judas are good. The Fight First Chaplain on the Death Company, I think, is an interesting pick. I know the Death Company with +1 to wound from this Chaplain are pretty good, so the fact that they can fight first is pretty good. The problem is that they don't really have durability in terms of being able to be shot, right? And there's only 5 Death Company models, so Fight First on only 5 Death Company models feels like it's quite pricey for what you actually get. 2 units of Assault Intercessors is great. 2 units of Insectors to terrorize the backfield can be useful. Infiltrators to skewer your backfield is good. The Sanguinary Guard are with Dante, and we know that's good, and I've been playing it in lag, and I think it's pretty good. The cool thing about the Sanguinary Guard is you can take lethal hits and lance from the stratagem, and they still have OC because the banner adds afterwards. So potentially Sanguinary Guard getting lethal hits and lance can be very strong, especially with hitting on 2s because of Dante and potential rerolls because of Oath of the Moment. And then you've got the squad of Scouts. I mean, overall, I think it's a somewhat decent list. The Blade Guard can do a good amount of work. So, like, and I've only played 2 games of lag, but in my 2 games of lag, Dante, Ballista, Sanguinary Guard have been pretty good. The Blade Guard, I've been running a Chaplain with them, have been pretty good as well. And I've been running the Death Company with Astrath, and that's been really handy. I guess you got the Sanguinar for a potential 3rd Fight First. I'm not sure if you need 3 Fight Firsts. You're paying an awful lot of points for it. I mean, it is nice to have Fight First, but do you need 3 of them? I don't know if you do. And like in my list, I obviously don't have the Sanguinar, but I've got 3 Assault Centurions. And I've been finding with the Advance and Charge, the Assault Centurions are actually really, really good. So, like if it was me, I'd be questioning whether you feel like you need 3 Fight First, especially this 5-man Death Company, right? You already got Fight First on the Blade Guard, you already got the Sanguinar to jump in and fight first. Do you need the Death Company to fight first as well? I do like 2 units of Plasma Inceptors, but yeah, you maybe... There could be an argument here for, like, losing the Sanguinar and making this Death Company into, like, a 10-man plus Astrath. Or keep the Chaplain with a Fight First and make it a 10, right? Like, I think if you have 2 Fight Firsts, that's really strong. I'm only running 1 personally. I think 3 is probably too much. I mean, it might come in clutch against, like, some armies, like World Eaters, but if you come up against, like, you're paying a lot of points for it, and if you come up against an army that doesn't really want to charge you, or doesn't really care about fighting you with combat, then you're paying a lot of points for nothing. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. I think it's too much. Julian says he's played 2 games with 2 Lancers in it. I kill every round at least 1 enemy vehicle, so they feel way more reliable. Yeah, I mean, that's why that's why when I went to GT Julian, the one that I won, I took 3 vehicles. I took 2 Predators with las cannons, and I took a Ballistus Dreadnought. So basically I had, like, what, 6 las cannons, 2 crack missiles, 8 autocannon shots and then like a couple of hunter killer missiles. I think I worked out that like my ranged firepower at 48 inches could do like 80 damage a turn or something. It was kind of ridiculous actually how much damage I could do at 48 inches for only spending 400 points. Snick said swap out a Ballistus Dreadnought for a full pod of Marines and still 70 points to spare. Which flight stands are in the Deceptors are on? They're on the ones that come in the box with them. They're like Gravis flight stands, I guess. Yeah, I'm not sure I rate 3 fight first. I don't think you need it. And I kind of agree with chat in that, like, I don't think 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts on their own are enough fire support for Blood Angels. Like, like I said, I don't really want to pay another 140 points for a third Ballistus. So my thought was either remove one of the Ballistuses and replace it with a Lancer, so you have a Lancer plus a Ballistus, or you could do double Lancer, or you could do something that's a bit more firstborn like I was doing. I think the Predator Destructor is a great vehicle. I keep running it. It keeps doing really well for me. And it's really nice at 130 points, I think. You know? Very, very good at killing elite infantry as well, the Predator Destructor, which I like a lot. So this list isn't too bad. I'm just not sure if I agree the need to have 3 fight first. And you did talk about you might try the Blood Angels Captain with Assault Intercessors and the Rage Fueled Warriors in the next game. I think that is good. Like, I think that is really good. I think if you are going to try and include some shooting fire support, 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts on their own are not enough. Like, a lot of pro players use 2 Lancers. Another thing to be said is, you know, a Ballistus or plus a Lancer or potentially 3 vehicles. My current list has 2 vehicles, but I was running 3. I did win a GT by running 3. John says, are Redemptor Dreadnoughts worth the points? At the moment, no. I have 3 that are fully built and painted and ready to go, man, and I don't think they're good in 9th edition. I think their main problem is because their main cannon used to be able to kill armor, and now the main cannon doesn't kill armor. So they're like a dreadnought that kills elite infantry. But Blood Angels don't really struggle to kill elite infantry, right? Death Company do that pretty well, Sangre Guard do that pretty well, Blade Guard do that pretty well. So the Redemptor's in a niche that we kind of already have it full of other better choices. Maybe if you're Ultramarines or something, you might want Redemptor Dreadnoughts, but I feel a bit sad about Redemptor Dreadnoughts because I never really feel them. Gareth says, when is it better to run 6 Angry Guard versus 2 times 3? Is it ever better? I think if you're attaching a character to the Sangry Guard, I would always have 6. Okay, we're going to go on to Shadow Knight, Terrence's list. Hey John, it's Terrence. Yeah, your list did get lost in the YouTube algorithm. Oh my goodness, what is the formatting of your list, Terrence? Okay, so you've got a Blood Angel Captain with the Rage Fueled Warrior, with the Power Fist and Infernal Pistol. You've got a Jump Captain with the Power Fist and Plasma Pistol. You've got the Chaplain with the Speed of the Primarch. That's a Firstborn Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch. Why is he so expensive? He shouldn't be 115 points. I think he's 90 in Speed of the... Sorry, I think he's 60 in Speed of the...
I have awoken.
John, thanks so much for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. I do think... A Firstborn Chaplain isn't... I always call him Firstborn. Chaplain on foot is not 60 points. It is 60 points. He's not... Chaplain on foot. And... let me... So... Chaplain on foot is 60, yeah. And Speed of the Primarch is 30, I thought? Yeah, so this guy should be 90 points. So I don't know why you've said it's 115. 90? Confusing me here. He's got Crozius and the Chaplain's Pistol. You've got Mephiston. You've got a Death Company Captain. with a 6-inch scout on Death Company. And you've got Astaroth. Quite a lot of characters here. 1, 2, 3 captains, Chaplain, Astaroth, Mephiston. Troops, you've got 5 assault intercessors and then 2 impulsors. Main infantry, you've got 5 jump intercessors, you've got another 5 jump intercessors, you've got 6 blade guard, you've got 6 sangry guard, you've got 5 death company on foot. We really don't see them very often. You got 10 death company that fly. You got 5 more death company that fly. And you got the 5 infiltrators. Yeah, I would love them to put Redemptors back into the battlefield. I would... Because I played a lot of games. I went to a lot of tournaments in 9th edition with double Redemptor. I even tried triple Redemptor. Like, I bought the 3rd Redemptor and tried triple Redemptor. But here's the thing about playing 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts. Redemptor Dreadnoughts bases are massive. Like, I actually don't know. They must be like 80 mils or 90, maybe even 100. Like, they're bigger than the Leviathan Dreadnoughts. So if you actually put 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts or 3 Redemptor chassis Dreadnoughts into your list, it's difficult to get them moving around because they're so friggin' massive. I say, like, let me see compared to like a chaplain. So a character on a 40, yeah, it must be like 100. It must be 100 mils. These bases, they're just so big. So it's hard. It's literally quite hard to play 3 of them. I played they're 90s. Are they 90s? Are they? Okay, they feel like 100s. Freezy says, I want Terminators to be good. I think Terminators can be good. I think if you take 5 of them with a Librarian leading them, and you potentially give that Librarian Speed of the Primarch, I think it's pretty good. Okay, hold on a minute. So you've got a Captain with 5 Assault Jump on foot. You've got a Death Company Captain with 5 Death Company on foot. You've got the Chaplain with the Speed of the Primarch, I assume, attached to the Blade Guard. You've got Mephiston on his own. You've got Astaroth with 10 Flying Death Company. And you've got a Jump Pack Chaplain with 5 Flying Death Company. Okay. Infiltrators in your backfield. So 15 Jump Death Company, 5 Death Company on foot. You've got 6 Sangry Guard. Who's leading the Sangry Guard? I guess this other captain? Okay, so you're leading the Sangry Guard as well. So they get -1 to hit, -1 to wound. So it's 6 Sangry Guard, 6 Blade Guard, 15 Jump Death Company, 10 Jump Intercessors, 2 Impulsors, Assault Intercessors. No one's really sent a list in yet with the Death Company Captain on foot. Let's take a quick look at his data sheet. Just because no one's really sent a list in with him. Death Company Captain. I run 10 with a Chaplain. I mean, 10 Terminators with a Chaplain is good. The problem I have with 10 Terminators Freezy is it's like an unwieldy amount of space on the battlefield. It's hard to field them. They take up so much space, you know? Okay, so this Captain, this model leading a unit, unless that unit starts embarked within a transport, the unit have the scouts. So you could scout. But if you're in a transport, no scout. You've still got the reroll hits and stuff like that. You are OC 0 unless you're within 12 inches of a Chaplain, but you do have 2 Chaplains in the list. If this model is destroyed by a melee attack, after the attacking model is finished making its attacks, you can roll a d6, adding to 2 if it was a Warlord, and you do up to 6 mortal wounds to the enemy. I mean, it's pretty gimmicky, but I guess if they wipe your Death Company, you just hit back for some mortal wounds. It's not the worst thing in the world to just kick out a bunch of mortal wounds when you die. It's a once per game thing, and it's only if you die in melee. I mean, it's not horrible. Occasionally, you'll spike 6 mortal wounds into an enemy. You know, when that Death Company is almost dead, you can just charge into any enemy and be like, yeah, kill my last 2 guys, and I'll do 6 mortal wounds to you. Okay. I don't dislike this list. I feel like, you know, 2 Impulsors is good for secondaries. 2 Jump Assault Intercessors is good. 15 Death Company in the air and 5 on foot is good. 6 Blade Guard is good. 6 Sangre Guard is good. The Infiltrators to deny, Mephiston to do actions or just generally be annoying. It's an all melee list, and I don't really like all melee lists personally. Can Rage Fueled Warrior go on him? What, the chaplain that leads the Terminators? I think so. Right? Rage Fueled Warrior? Yeah? If you want to, you can give him sustained once per game. I do think fight first on the chaplain or fight first on the character leading the Terminators is much more scary. Because your Terminators have all power fists. If you're leading them with a chaplain, you're getting +1 to wound. So it's very difficult for people to charge that. Are Terminators with an Ancient worth it? Ancients are kind of 50-50, I guess. The OC is nice. The bonus they give from OC is nice. But the problem is the Ancients can only attach when like a captain's attached or a lieutenant. So like the two strongest choices for attaching to Terminators, well, the bottom line strongest choice is probably Librarian, with the Chaplain as a very close second choice. And I think if you attach the Chaplain or the Librarian, you can't attach the Ancient. I don't really know why they made that ruling, but it does specifically say on the Ancient's data sheet that like Ancient and Terminator armor, he has to only be attached if it's like a captain or lieutenant. I guess in the form of Terminators, there's no lieutenant. So the Ancient will specifically say Captain, Chapter Master, Lieutenant, which is annoying. The Librarian's good because he gives you a 4-up, feel no pain against Psychic, and he gives your unit sustained 1 in both shooting and in melee, which is really good. And then the Chaplain gives you +1 to your wound in melee all the time, and a 4-up, feel no pain against mortals. I can't decide if 4-up, feel no pain against mortals or a 4-up, feel no pain against psychic attacks. I feel like there's a you know, a lot of the time mortals do come from psychic attacks, but I guess mortals is the more general term. So it's like if you're looking for defensive, the Chaplain's possibly better. But the Librarian is a very good choice as well. If you were looking for absolute maximum damage output, then it's the Librarian. But the Chaplain's very good when you're charged as well. You don't hate the Chaplain either because dev wounds count as mortals now. Yeah, I mean the Chaplain is a good pick. Especially if you gave them fight first, right? Because if they charge your Terminators, you're fighting first with +1 to wound on all those power fists. It's very strong. So it's cool. It's a cool list for sure. I don't really play all melee lists, but I guess if I was going to play all melee, 20 Death Company, 6 Angry Guard, 6 Blade Guard, 10 Assault Intercessors, and in Astrath Mephiston, and like 3 Captains, and a Chaplain would be a pretty good choice, right? Okay, we're going to move on to Void Shade. This is list number 4 for tonight. And we're also on Liberator Assault Group. Where do I post my list to get shown? When the stream finishes tonight, when the stream finishes, you can put comments in the list, right? So just put your list like a text file, or a link to your text file if you want to dump your text file on Pastebin. Just put it into the comment section for the stream when the stream's finished. So as soon as the stream finished, the live chat will go away and you can just leave comments. Put your list into the comments. I'm getting a lot of lists at the moment. This week there was probably 15 or 20 submissions. So there's probably like a 2-week queue though. So if you want your list reviewed quickly, get it in as soon as possible. Just before I came on stream, my daughter was running like a really high temperature, guys. I'm just going to go check on her. I'll just be like 1 minute, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Temperature is on its way back down, so that's good news. Jason, talk amongst yourselves and like and subscribe. Jason, you're like my mascot, dude. Thank you. Yes, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Do you know what? I've actually got a button I can press, and it like puts the subscribe banner like across the channel. But I don't ever friggin' like it's an actual like it's this little thing here. Like, can I bring it into camera shot? Yeah. I've got this little thing that I can just like push buttons on, like subscribe. Oh, it's not working now. There you go. I never press it, man. I literally never press it in my live streams. Spent like $150 on this. There we go. Someone subscribe. Thanks so much for subscribing. I don't know if I even saw the alert on my screen there, but someone subscribe. Look at that. So yeah, I've got this fancy thing. But apparently I don't press the buttons on it.
I have awoken.
It's you, Jason. Thank you so much for because you've been a member before, man. No, this is different. There's two Jason T's. This is the one sent back in time. You know, like this is the Terminator, Jason. This has been sent back through time to replace you. This was a joke from the live stream a few weeks ago, and we had a guy called David Smith who was a channel member. We had a guy called David Smith who was a grey name, and we're like, T stands for Terminator. Yeah, exactly. So you got to watch yourself now, Jason. You know, he's come back from Los Angeles 2029, or I was going to say actually. Because I think in the original Terminator movie, they came back from like 2029, so we're only a few years away from it. Same as like in Back to the Future. Like in Back to the Future, didn't they have like flying cars and everything by now? A Lancer or an Executioner for anti-tank. I've played both, and I would not play an Executioner again. And I think that Executioner has problems. By the way, Jason, thanks so much for becoming a member. I do appreciate it. The Executioner has problems because you want it to stay still, so it will hit on twos. So people will not move into... People aren't going to move into line of sight of it because it's literally got the best gun. It's the only weapon Space Marines have that's like AP4, strength 16, potentially 10 damage. But you really want to stay still. And it makes it really hard to play an Executioner because people are just going to not let it see you if possible, right? So I think the Lancer is a much better option. You don't get hurt so much if you move it because of the buffs it has. I actually, in the Executioner's buff is a bit weird. It's like when something is almost dead, you get a buff against killing it. But usually you'll be shooting an Executioner against something that is not almost dead because you're trying to drop down a big target, I feel like. So yeah, I've played the regular Repulsor a bunch of times, and I've played the Repulsor Executioner maybe like I've played the regular Repulsor like 10 times at this point in 10th edition. I've played the Executioner like twice. Both times I've played it, I found it super difficult to get the most out of it. And as such, like I was just like, yeah, I don't think this is a good unit. Each time the target makes an attack against a unit is below half strength, add 1 to the hit roll. So yeah, it's a really weird buff, right? Because most of the time you want to stay still and get the heavy and you hit on twos anyway. So this +1 to hit only helps you... It doesn't help you at the start of the game. I feel like that's when you need to be killing enemy vehicles at the start of the game. And very rarely I feel the Executioners are they allowed to live into turn 4 or 5. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of Executioner. I'd go for a Lancer 100%. Alright, sorry, let's get back to Voidshade. 9526. He's running the Blood Angels Captain with 10 Assault Terminators. Assault Intercessors, sorry. Don't know why I said Terminators. You guys have put Terminators in my brain tonight. Other 10 Assault Intercessors and a drop pod. Just want to try my drop pod for fun, as it could be decent slam down on an objective perhaps. We don't see too many drop pods at the moment. I don't know if that's that telling, but we don't see many. Lamartas with 10 Death Company, Jump Pack in a Repulsor. You can't fit 10 Death Company with Jump Packs and Lamartas inside the Repulsor. The capacity for the Repulsor now is 16, I believe. which is why Dante plus 6 Sanguinary Guard fit inside. Maybe it's actually 14. So yeah, jump pack units and take 2 seats, and then Terminator Chaplain with the Terminators. Oh, cool. So we're looking at the Terminators that we just talked about on stream. Hold on for the damn Repulsor data sheet to load up. It is now capacity 14. Yeah. So this is why Dante and the Sanguinary Guard fit inside, because they are 7 models that all have 2. They all take 2 seats. So that's why I've been playing a Repulsor, and that's where I've been putting my 6 Sanguinary Guard in Dante. Basically to get them further forward on turn 1, so I have better threat range and it keeps them relatively safe. And they're so expensive at the moment, the Sanguinary Guard, so if you're not going to put them inside a Repulsor, I feel like you probably want to Rapid Ingress them, because they're just so expensive. You need them to be hitting into the enemy at full strength, and that's kind of why I was putting them inside the Repulsor. Okay, so we've got a Blood Angels Captain with Rage-Fueled Warrior. We've got a Chaplain in Terminator Armor with Speed of the Primarch. I think this Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch is really cool. I don't know if you guys were on my stream last night. Some of you were. I was working on a you want to call him a Firstborn Chaplain. A Primaris Chaplain on foot that's going to have Speed of the Primarch. So that's one of my next painting projects, because I think the Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch... And I haven't tried the Terminator one yet, to be honest, but I think it's probably pretty good, because with Blade Guard it's also really good. It's about the same points, actually, because the Chaplain and Terminator Armor plus Speed of the Primarch plus a squad of Terminators are what, like, that's 105 plus 107? 105 plus 175, sorry, so it's 280 if you do 5 Terminators with the Chaplain. If you do the Blade Guard, it's 180 plus 60 plus 30. So it's like, if you've got 10 points... That's really interesting, actually, because with the Blade Guard... I hadn't considered this myself, actually. With the Blade Guard, you are actually paying like 80 points for an Impulsor. So you could just be like, with Terminators, you're like, yeah, I'm just going to dump my Terminators onto an objective. As soon as they can teleport onto the battlefield, they're going to teleport in. I'm going to put my Teleport Homer on a side field objective, and I'm just going to get onto it. I'm just going to be like, hey, come and charge me. So you get 2 10-man Assault Intercessor squads. I don't know if I like that. I think I'd rather just have the 5s and the Impulsors. Because 10 means that you're running across the battlefield, whereas 5 and the Impulsors means you don't take any losses while the opponent spends a couple of times shooting the Impulsors, and most of the time the Impulsors end up surviving and doing actions for you and tank shocking for you and stuff like that. You got Assault Intercessor with Jump Packs, you've got Battle Predator, you've got Brutalis, and a Death Company Dreadnought. I don't know if I rate this Death Company Dreadnought at 260 points. I honestly think you should just take 2 Brutalises at the moment at 160. Sorry, not 260, 220 points. I think this is 60 points more expensive than a Brutalis, and I think arguably it's no better. So I would say at the moment you should run 2 Brutalises, and let's take those 60 points and play with them elsewhere. You got the 10 Death Company with Jump Packs, you got the 2 Outrider squads, you've got the Drop Pod, you've got the Repulsor, and then you've got the Terminator squad. Cherry says, I feel like the Terminator Ancient can join Terminators without a captain, as the wording on the attachment says. You can attach this model if one... Oh yeah, I mean, you can have the Ancient attach without the captain or the lieutenant. Yes, that's absolutely fine. I'm just saying that the best characters for leading Terminators, in my opinion anyway, are the Librarian and the Chaplain. I don't necessarily feel like a character that gives you bonuses when like your squad is dying, which is what most of the bonuses are from the Ancient, right? So it's like, yes, you get the 1 OC. I mean, that's cool, especially if you're battle shocked, you still get the 1 OC. So it means like if the Terminators for some reason are battle shocked, you still have like 5 OC in the squad, or 6 if... But like the buff you get here, which is like when the unit is below starting strength, you add... Sorry, while this model is leading a unit, each time this model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit if you're below starting strength, add 1 to the wound if you're below half strength. So I just think that like 75 points for that, when you could just have the same 75 points for a 4-up Feel No Pain Against Mortals and +1 to wound for the entire game. I'd much rather have +1 to wound for the entire game, because I think by the time this +1 to wound kicks in, You only got 2 Terminators left. I don't think +1 to wound on 2 Terminators is all that impactful. I feel like very rarely are your Terminators standing on an objective and out OCing your opponent, right? Like, I feel like if you're standing on an objective and your Terminators are on an objective, why haven't you killed whatever's on the objective with the Terminators, right? Like, I don't know how much value I perceive in +1 OC for Terminators, because they are just a squad full of power fists, right? So, like, they are, like, you know, +2 strength, +1 attack when they charge. So, like, if your 5 Terminators charge an opponent, and you still need the OC to control that objective, your Terminator's probably going to die at that point. So it feels like it's more impactful to have a buff like the Chaplain gives or the Librarian gives, so that when you do charge the opponent, you massacre them, and then the OC is kind of irrelevant at that point, right? Because you massacred the opponent, if that makes sense. Unless you use the strat and not worry about Battle Shock. It does let you use the strat and not worry about Battle Shock, but I guess my point is, if you look at, like, the Librarian, for example, the Librarian can get +1 to wound and sustained hits, right? And I think +1 to wound and sustained hits will always math out better than whatever the Ancient can offer. I guess, which would be +1 to wound and lethal hits. Because when I did a slide a few weeks back, I can probably find it real quick. Give me one sec. I actually made a whole video on this. So the slide is something like best Terminator leader. Here's the slide, right? If we actually, like, jump down to, oh, I forgot that. 15,000 subscribers. So I made this a while ago then, because I'm a few subscribers away from 17,000 now. So, but, like, if you come down and see, like, what unit can do the absolute most damage when leading a unit of Terminators, it's the Librarian. The Chaplain is pretty close behind. The Captain is not too far away. But I believe this would be, the Captain will be using Red Rampage here, and with the Chaplain you don't need to use it, right? And I guess there's something to be said with, like, our army does need to use that Red Rampage in the right situation to get the most out of units on the battlefield. So by attaching Chaplains to Terminators or Blade Guards or Death Company, you save that Red Rampage for something somewhere else, right? So, yeah, I don't hate the Terminator Ancient. I just think that my view would be, if I was going to run Terminators, I would either have them with the Librarian, because I think if the Librarian charges, sustained hits, lands from the stratagem, I think the damage output is the best by a long shot. And sometimes I think, I mean, the Chaplain's good. The Chaplain's really good because you get +1 to wound when you are charged, especially if you've got the fight first. I mean, that maybe changes things. My video was made before the fact that Terminators could get fight first. So a Chaplain with the Terminators with fight first, arguably, like, I could get on board with that being better than Librarian now. Or, like, it's more versatile than Librarian, but if you actually just want absolute maximum damage, point for point maximum damage, it is the Librarian still to lead the Terminators. And, like, the Librarian costs the same point as the Ancient. Sorry, we've been massively derailed. What would you say on Assault Terminators, Lightning Claws, or Thunderhammer Storm Shield? I wouldn't run Assault Terminators, man. I have them again. I've got them painted. And annoyingly, all my Terminators with bolters are not finished painting. But I would say the Terminators with bolters are much better. They're much better. They're just better at the moment. Thunderhammer's weapon skill is really bad. The Thunderhammer weapon skill is bad enough that it forces you to use Oath of Moment with that Terminator unit. And I don't really like having units that are forced to use my Oath of Moment. Like, I like having my Oath of Moment for, like, if we go back to the tournament that I won, Dante's unit with the Sangre Guard didn't need Oath of Moment because Dante's given them +1 to hit. Both Death Companies that I ran didn't need Oath of Moment because Because Death Company rerolled hits, and then Blade Guard also get to reroll ones, so again, they don't need Oath of Moment. All these things can get, or at least a few of these things can get buffs from Oath of Moment, but I think having your Oath of Moment flexible is one of the best things that you can actually get, right? Because the way I look at it is like there's always going to be a situation in the battle where like I really need that thing to die, and I have a unit that's not optimal that needs to kill that unit. And I like to be able to say, well, that will be my Oath of Moment target because I have unoptimal units that need to kill that. And especially if you've got like a unit with sustained hits. Oath of Moment's brilliant with sustained hits. Especially if you've got more than one, like if you've got those bolters for the Inceptors with sustained 2, or you got Centurions with sustained 2. If you've got sustained 2, you should re-roll everything, right? You should re-roll all your hits as well. I proved that this week with the Centurions. The Centurions get 12 attacks. I ended up getting 18 hits because of the sustained 2. I rolled like a few 6s, and I just picked up every single dice, including a bunch of hits, and rolled them again. Because every 1 you roll, when you're sustained 2, you lose 1. Every 6 you rolled, you gain 2. So if you were rolling 10 dice, and math happens, as math happens, statistically you will always get more hits than you will lose by re-rolling everything, right? Given the state of the Codex as is and the army set with the Dreadnought, would it be best to use it for Death Company or non-Death Company, says Andy. I think for now, Andy, I think it has to be used as a regular Brutalis. I think it's too expensive to be used as the Death Company Dreadnought. Give Assault Terminators the feel no pain and the shield they won't die. Yeah, but not dying and not killing are two opposite problems, I guess. I think that I think regular Terminators are pretty durable now with toughness 5 and a 4-up invuln, though, Marcus. Especially if you've got them led by like we said, the chaplain or the librarian, giving them potentially feel no pains and stuff like that. I honestly think if they left Thunderhammers at Weapon Skill 3, we would probably see people running Assault Terminators. But I mean, the fact that, you know, in the shooting Terminators, you can take the Cyclone Missile Launcher. If you got Librarian leading them, then you get sustained hits on your Cyclone Missile Launcher. That can be meaningful, you know? A couple of 6s when you're shooting your Cyclone Missile Launcher, all of a sudden you got 4 missiles out that Cyclone Missile Launcher, you know? Okay, so yeah, I think in this list, I don't know if I'm running 2 10s. I think I would want to get some Impulsors. I think I would have to get this Death Company Dreadnought replaced with the Brutalis Dreadnought. I don't think a drop pod with 10 Assault Intercessors in it is very meaningful. I guess if you want to have some fun, it's fine. But I don't think it's particularly competitive. Nobody's doing it. Jason says, I'm a fan of dual lightning claws on the Terminators. They used to be a lot better, though. I guess that's the problem. Like, they don't have great AP, and they don't have a great number of attacks. Right? I think it's been a little while since I looked at them, but I don't feel like they have enough attacks. I think it's like only 5 attacks per guy. Yeah, I just don't think they have enough attacks for only strength 5. 1 sec, I'm just going to check on my kid, okay?
I don't know anything.
Yeah, Mom, I have a refrigerator. I know you want that.
Sorry, I'm one of my kids is not a bit poorly tonight. Yeah, I just don't think that the lightning claws have enough damage output, man. I think last edition used to get +1 attack for a lightning claw in each hand, and now they have one less. Yes, they're twin linked, but I don't know. I don't think it's enough. You know, like you're only getting 25 1 damage hits out from a unit that's 185 points. The Blade Guard are 180 points, and they're getting 32 damage hits out. So Lightning Claw Terminators... Oh, sure, I guess if you include the extra 1 attack. So the maximum damage Lightning Claw Terminators can do is 30 for 185 points. The Blade Guard, for 5 points less, can do double their damage, and the Blade Guard get to reroll their hits as well of 1, so arguably they're going to be hitting more often. I suppose the Terminators have 1 more toughness. Is that worth 5 points for a 50% damage reduction? I don't think it is, right? 50. Yeah, I mean, they're twin linked, but I don't know. I just don't rate them. It'd be interesting to see. I think they're too far away from the Blade Guard. I think I just pick Blade Guard over Assault Terminators every time, which is a pity because the Assault Terminator models, we know them, we love them. But they're just not good at the moment. They're just not. They're really not good. They brought them down. They were in 195 points. I think they need to be cheaper than the shooting Terminators. I think at 165 points, I could get on board. I think at 170 points, I still prefer the shooting Terminators because they would be the same at 175, right? Yeah, so I think this list needed a little something Void Shade because you can't put the Death Company in the Repulsor like you wanted to. I don't think the drop pod with 10 Assault Intercessors is all that meaningful. I think if you were going to take Assault Intercessors, you want them to be led by a captain so you can do the devastating wound nonsense with the rerolls. And I also think the points you're spending on the drop pod, I would rather break this up, take 2 Impulsors, rather make this a cheaper Dreadnought. There's a lot you could do actually, right? If you change this to an Impulsor, you need to find 10 points, so you'd be like minus 10 points, but you can make both these Assault Terminators fives, right? So you've now got 150 points. So you could add another Impulsor, which would cost you 80, so you would still be 70 points to the good. You change this Brutalis Dreadnought to another, you change the Death Company Dreadnought to another Brutalis Dreadnought, you would now be 130 points to the good. What could you do with 130 points? Well, you could get a second captain in there. Captain with a power fist for 80. You'd have 50 points left over. Be hard to spend those last 50 points. I think changing it in this direction is the right option. I just don't know how you spend those last 50 points. I mean, you could have a unit of henchmen, right? Why Power Fist? Because you can only have the Rage Field on one unit, and the Power Fist gets the 9 attacks, right? With the devastating wounds. It's pretty good. That's what I was running to the tournament. That's the captain that a lot of people were using before the Blood Angels captain came out. So it's just like a captain with a power fist. He's 6 attacks on the charge. Once per game he gets to add 3 attacks, so he goes to 9 attacks on the charge, and he's got dev wounds. You attach him to the Assault Intercessors so he can re-roll the wounds. So you can fish for devastating wounds, or you can at least re-roll your ones or whatever. Maybe one day they will finally release the new Terminator Ancient model. I made a new Terminator Ancient using that new Terminator Librarian, you know that? Because I got 2 new Terminator Librarians. Why would you... Yeah, this... I think this captain's still good, though, Jason. Right? Like, I don't think the Blood Angels captain is necessarily any better. I mean, he's 5 points cheaper, which is a bit weird. But I think for the most part... The most part... I still think the Power Fist is, for the most part, the better option than the Chainsword. The only reason to take the Chainsword is on the Sustained 3 character, I think. Where you maximise your fishing for devastating wounds. Is Judiciar the Lieutenant better with the Blade Guard? Probably the Judiciar. But I'm running the Chaplain of the Blade Guard. I think that's really strong. Okay, let's move on to list number 5. This is from Roger, and he's got a Dante, the Blood Angels captain of the Rage Fueled, the Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch, and Astrath. He's got 5 Assault Intercessors. They'll be with the captain most likely. He's got the Infiltrators, he's got the 2 Impulsors, he's got the 6 Angry Guard, he's got the 6 Blade Guards. This list is very similar to the list I'm running at the moment. He has double Lancer, he has double Jump Assault Intercessor, he has 10 Death Company with the Astrath, and he has the Scouts. Yeah, this... So I'm running Dante, the Chaplain of the Speed of the Primarch, and Astrath. So 3 of the 4 characters are the same. I'm running 1 Impulsor with Blade Guard, which attaches the Speed of the Primarch. I'm running 2 Jump Assault Intercessors. I'm running the 10 Death Company. Rather than the Scouts, I'm running 2 units of Outriders. Rather than Lancers, I'm running a Predator Destructor and a Repulsor. But this is very, very similar to my list. I think that if I was going to be tweaking my list, this is probably the direction that I would go. I think this probably is the direction that some people will say is probably the most competitive for Blood Angels at the moment, right? Double Lancer gives you that great long-range anti-tank. Double Impulsor gives you the Blade Guard and the Assault Intercessors with the Captain, getting them forward, doing a lot of damage with them. You've got Astrath and his Death Company for rapid ingress. You've got Dante and the Sanguinary Guard for the rapid ingress. So you could actually put those 2 units in reserve. Rapid ingress every game. 1 in turn 2, 1 in turn 3. You've got 2 units of jump assault intercessors scoring. You've got the unit of scouts for early objective holding. I don't think there is any way to improve this list. There's nothing that I would necessarily cut. I do think you can 100% run the captain, though, with the Power Fist here. If you think the captain's going to survive more than 1 turn, and you're not going to fish for devastating wounds, then I think the Power Fist is totally fine. Mr. Kazumi, sorry, what was your question? Maybe one day they'll put new Terminator Ancients in. I think I asked that, right? You'd love to see my Terminator Ancient kit bash. Can I show it to you easily? Maybe. I'm trying to think where it is, though. Yeah. I will grab it. I think it'll take me 2 seconds to grab it. Anyone got feedback? I think this is pretty much possibly one of the most meta lists you'll see for Blood Angel. Something like this.
I have awoken.
Aiden, thanks so much for subscribing. Yeah, I don't know where that model is, though. Oh, I've got him. Let me see if my my camera app is going to work tonight. So it decided to die last night. I think it's going to work though. I think it was just playing funny buggers last night. Droid cam. Let's see. Start. Yeah, it's going to work. Okay. I was going to say I don't have a light down here right now. Oh, it's upside down. Oops. Oh, it's upside down again. Now that's me. Why is it upside down? I turned it the other way. Ah! It's flipping it. I don't know why. Why is it upside down? Alright, I'll hold them upside down. Look at. There we go. Let's see if we can get them. The light's terrible. 1 second, let me pull a light over here. There he is, he's a librarian. He's holding a Sanguinary Guard banner. I mean, there wasn't too much kit bashing. It's really difficult to film them when I have to hold them upside down. But there wasn't too much kit bashing going on. It was just like a normal Terminator head and a Sanguinary Guard banner to make a Terminator Ancient. I've actually been using him. He's on a 40mm base as well. I've actually been using him as part of my Company Ancients. Company Heroes, sorry, not Company Ancients. So, yeah. Because I didn't buy the Company Ancients, but I did buy the Company Heroes, sorry. I do have, like, a bunch of models that I can use for the Company Heroes. So I needed an Ancient for my Company Heroes. So I figured I'd use the Librarian Terminator. I can't... Yeah, I didn't film making it, but I mean, he still has like the book on his back and stuff that obviously shows he's a librarian, but had a fair Sangre Guard banner. Did anyone say anything about this list? Hi, Jack. I'm new to Blood Angels. I plan on playing casually and was hoping to have a full squad of jump packs and hammers, but it looks like that's no longer an option. You are correct, Jack. All of us did make those squads, and all of us have now had to bin those squads. So you're probably joining at the right time, where no longer will you end up making a bunch of models that are no longer valid. McFatson misses his Death Company with 10 hand flamers. Not many people were playing them with 10 hand flamers, I'll tell you that, McFatson, but you must have been one of them. Okay, I think if you're struggling to make a new Blood Angels list and you want a mix of anti-tank shooting, units that can do actions, and Death Company, Sangre Guard, and Blade Guard, then this is a very good list. This is very, like I said, this is very similar to the list that I'm playing at the moment. I always put my own little spins on list. Jason says it's a very cookie cutter list. Yeah, I would say this would be a great jumping off point. This is probably going to be a very strong list. I'd be surprised if a list like this... Oh, sorry, I'm still seeing my desk. I'd be surprised if a list like this doesn't win... doesn't win a GT like in the next 6 months. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to flip the camera back. There you go. So, double Lancer, double Assault Intercessors, Blade Guard, Sangre Guard, double Impulsor, Infiltrators, Scouts, Astaroth, Death Company, Chaplain with Fight First with Blade Guard, Sangre Guard with Dante, Captain with Assault Intercessors. I think that's very strong. You could make a lot worse lists than that. I don't have any way to improve that list. I don't have anything negative to say about it. Okay. It doesn't happen too often. Usually I bash something in everybody's list, so that must be a good one. Alright, we're going to move on to the last list for tonight. It's by Soviet Poet. He said, I couldn't decide, so I made 3 lists. This is more than one list, is it? Oh, Jesus, okay. So it's not the final list for tonight. It's 3 lists. Okay. One's basic 1200 point melee, 400 points action plus anti-tank. The other 2 were making my anti-tank the target so my jump packs could do work. 1 melee. The other 2 were... sorry. No need to review all 3. Just thought they were fun to share. I wanted to get Speed of the Primarch in, but I couldn't find a spot. Alright, let's see what we've got. We'll run through them quickly then. Astaroth with a Captain, a Chaplain, a Judiciar, and a Librarian with Terminator Armor. You've got Assault Intercessors, I guess, with the Captain. You've got Assault Intercessors with Jump Packs. You've got double Blade Guard. We haven't seen that tonight. I guess that would probably be like a Chaplain and a Judicar. We've got the Death Company, they'd be with Astaroth. You've got Infiltrators, you've got double Scouts. You've got Terminators with Fists and Missile Launchers. You've got double Ballistus Dreadnought. You've got double Impulsor. Not too bad. We talked earlier about how double Ballistus Dreadnought was not great, but I mean, you are adding the Librarian Terminator, so you've got a bit more firepower in there. Double Blade Guard, double Impulsor, Assault Intercessors as well. Infiltrators, it's not too bad. The second one, you've gone Dante, Mephisto. Oh, these are very different. I thought it might be slight iterations. You've got Dante, Mephisto, and you've got a Captain and a Jump Captain. You've got double Assault Intercessors, you've got Company Heroes, Infiltrators, you've got double Sangre Guard in this list. Outriders, Impulsors, and then you've got Canis Rex. My thought at the moment is until we actually get some finalised points costs for Sangre Guard, I would maybe avoid double Sangre Guard at 300 points for 6. I think that is very, very expensive. I think you could possibly field 1 unit, but I wouldn't go ahead and field 2 at the moment. I'd rather have the second unit be like a Death Company unit. Astaroth and Lamartas are both good choices for that. Allying up with Canis Rex is not a bad pick. Canis Rex is pretty strong. He gets sustained 5s on like everything. I actually fought against him this week. His high intensity gun is D6 shot, strength 14 -3, flat 4, and he does sustained on 5s. His melee is strength 20, minus 3, 9, flat 9. Again, sustained on 5s, or strength 10, minus 2, 3 damage, sustained on 5s, 10 attacks. Yeah, I mean, he's a good knight. 5 up in Van, 22 wounds. 22 wounds? I think Andrew lied to me. He told me he was 24. Unless he's been changed. Did Andrew give him 2 extra wounds on the battle report this week, or is this data sheet out of date? What a sneaky little... Okay, and then the third list, Astaroth, Dante, Lamartes, Librarian and Terminator Armor, Assault Intercessors with jump packs times 3, 1 squad on foot, Death Company with jump packs, 2 10s. I prefer this, so Dante with 6, Astaroth 10, Lamartes with 10, 5 Terminators with... Interesting giving the Rage-Fueled Warrior to the Terminator Librarian, I don't hate it. And then Brutalis Dreadnoughts times 2. It's important to know if you do use Rage Fueled Warrior, it doesn't stack with a sustained one that he already gives you, right? Jack, have I ever collected other armies? Yeah, like back in the 90s, I had Eldar, I had Orcs, I had Imperial Guard, and I traded all those armies for more Space Marine things with people back in the day. I gave away probably like... I think Orcs was the biggest second army I had, so I probably gave away like 1,500... Well, the points were a lot different back then, but yeah, I gave away 1,500 points of Orcs. Probably gave away like 500 points of Guard and like 1,000 points of Eldar and just traded it all for Space Marines. I figured at that point I'd already created a giant backlog of Space Marines and I couldn't keep up. So, do you know what, at the moment, I actually have some Thousand Sun models, but I might slap contrast paint on them later this year, we'll see. Of the 3 lists you submitted, I think possibly like the third one the most. But I think if this was me, right, if I already have Terminator, Sangre Guard, 2 10-man death companies, 15 assault intercessors, more assault intercessors on foot, I think I would probably have these 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts swapped out for 2 Gladiator Lancers. Because I think, like, you're already in your opponent's face with 20 Death Company, and 6 Angry Guard, and 5 Terminators, and 15 Assault Intercessors. Do you need to be trying to get more in their face with more Brutalis Dreadnoughts? No, I'd probably swap those out for the Lancers, and I would make that my list. I was going to say you're agonizingly a few points short here of having a squad of Infiltrators, which I do actually really rate highly. The only way I think you could get the Infiltrators in is if one of these Gladiator Lancers, when we swap them out, was a Ballistus Dreadnought or a Predator Destructor or something like that. Hey, discussing the Resilient, good evening. Knights were 24 wounds last edition, likely him just assuming they were same. Yeah, let's just say he was assuming that they were the same, and I'll message him that he's a cheating bastard, right? How are you discussing the Resilient? Mike says, do you know what, Mike? We probably should just do that. I actually found a Slaughter Beast today that I've been doing a bit of tidying up, so I at least know where all the Thousand Sun models that I bought were now. So that's something. Yeah, I think the third list is my preferred choice, but I think the last list we looked at was probably like Jason called it the most cookie cutter Blood Angels list. I think it's probably just a really solid selection of units, and I think that will be really strong as we go. Like, if people are struggling where to start, that's where I would start. And I only have 2 games in Liberator Salt Group. They were both victories. I mean, I'll keep playing. I'll be trying to find out my list for my next GT, because I would like to do well at another GT in the near future. So yeah, I think that is it for tonight. If you enjoyed any of the stream, please hit the like button. We are here every Sunday night reviewing the community army lists. You can get your list onto the show in the near future. All you got to do is, after the stream ends, post your list in text, just like you saw all the lists tonight, into the video description, and I will pick it up and add it to the queue for like next week's show or whatnot. Sorry I had to go AFK a couple of times. Thanks for bearing with me tonight. I got a few videos coming out this week, actually. So stay tuned for that. And the Crimson Lords campaign should launch on Thursday. Yeah, that's right. So I've been working on my final Crimson Lords video. So keep an eye out for this thumbnail coming on Thursday. Look at this Sangre Guard head, though, man. This is a cool. I feel like this is a pretty cool Sangre Guard head. So keep an eye out for this video. It'll be coming on Thursday. Yeah, there's actually like some stretch goals with the Crimson Lord stuff. So I'm gonna have to. If you haven't built all your Death Company stuff and you want some more custom shoulder pads, chain swords, power fists, headpieces, then keep an eye out for this video. How would you rate a squad of Eliminators with Las Fusos led by a Librarian with Phobos for the mostly melee army? I don't want to really invest in vehicles. Not many people are using Eliminators anymore. They used to be pretty durable. They lost a lot of their durability. They also lost a bunch of their strength on their las cannons, which probably is putting people off. If you're going to invest in vehicles, just invest in the Primaris ones, because the Primaris ones are going to be here for a while. The Gladiator is probably the safest option. I'm sure the issue with Lancers is that out of the 4 games I've played with them, with both shooting the same target, I only killed the enemy tank once in turn 1. I think you just got to play more than 4 games, Terrence, because I think once you've played 10 games with the Lancers, you'll probably actually start to find some good value. You know, like for example, like my list, which was only running like 2 Predators and a Ballistus Dreadnought. Like I played it enough times where I was like, yeah, they don't always kill a vehicle, but they kill them enough, or they deal enough threat that I actually kind of like them. Thanks for hanging out, Snicked. It is always a pleasure. It's nice to see you guys all. I hope you have a great weekend. Like I said, I got a few videos coming out this week, so I'm sure I'll see you guys live at some point this week. Keep an eye out for that thumbnail. I think it'll be coming Thursday. So, have a nice evening, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like on the stream. Leave me your list if you want me to look at it. Hopefully, it's only a few weeks now till we get the final points for the new detachment. And I guess if you're waiting to submit a list till we get the final points, I guess that's fine as well. I've got plenty of lists to keep me going because there was like 10 submissions. Yeah, I should say that. There was like 10 people that submitted lists this week that we're not going to get to this week. So most of you will be on next week's show. So I'll see you next Sunday. Have a great weekend, guys. By the blood are we made strong. Peace.